You want?
I just want a word with you.
A word with me?
Yes.
My husband is not in at the moment.
And I know that. Mommy, I know the stranger.
No. The stranger man will not
William, you mommy.
The stranger man will not hurt mommy.
What do you want us to go and remain with him alone?
No, baby, let's go. Let's go. Yes.
Will we play again, mommy?
Yes, we will play another game.
Let's go, children.
Okay, mommy. Mommy, make sure it doesn't turn.
He won't have money. A word with me?
Yes, I do.
But it is completely impossible for me.
It is the eve of Christmas, and it will depend on yourself what sort of Christmas you want to spend, right?
But, Doctor...
We will not talk about that. We will not talk about that until later on, and I presume you give me a moment, right?
Yes, although...
Good. I was in Olsen's restaurant today, and I saw your husband going down the gate.
Yes.
With a lady?
Yes.
Can I make you so bold to answer that of Mrs. Lane?
Yes, it was.
Oh, just arrived in town?
Oh, yes, today.
She's a very great friend of yours, right?
Yes, she is.
I also knew it, sir.
I'm quite aware of that.
Are you?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Then I can ask without beating around the bush. Is Mrs. Lane to have some sort of appointment in the bank?
What right have you to question me like that? You who is one of my husband's subordinates, but since you ask, yes, I shall tell you. Miss Lane is to have an appointment at the bank, and it was I who pleaded her case. Let me tell you that, Coxton.
So I was just right in what I thought then.
Naturally, when one has a little bit of influence,
yes,
they should avoid influencing anyone who has...
Influence?
Exactly.
Would you be so kind to use that influence on my behalf?
But I have no influence.
Hey! Would you be so kind to see that I keep my subordinate position in the bank?
And who proposes to take your position at the
There
bank?
is no necessity to keep up the pretense of ignorance. I can quite understand very well that your friend Mrs. Lane is not anxious and has not a chance of rubbing their shoulders with me. Then, for that, I must thank you for it, right? But the time has come that I must advise you to use that influence to prevent this.
But I have no influence.
Haven't you? But I think you have just said now.
Naturally, I do not mean for you to construct such kind of things. What makes you think that I have so much power over my husband?
I have known your husband since our student days. He's no more than an assailable husband, just like others.
If you speak lightly of my husband, I shall turn you out of the house.
Ah, you're very bold.
I have the courage now.
And listen to me, Sister Selma. If necessary, I'm prepared to fight for this small post in the bank as if I were to fight for my dear life.
So it seems.
No! It's not for the sake of money that I'm speaking about. In fact, that least way in this matter. There's another thing. And my position is this. You know quite well that many years ago I was guilty of some indiscretion.
Yes.
The matter never came to court. So I had to do something. I had to make my hands in the kind of business that you and I quite understand very well. And honestly, my children are growing up now. And I would have to fight for this small post as if I would fight for my dear life. And I must earn the first respect I had in town just as before.
But Mr. Crompton, I couldn't prevent it. I have no power to prevent it.
Then I have a means to compel you.
You don't mean that you will tell my husband that I owe you money?
Suppose I was telling.
That will be so infamous of you. To think of him learning my secret, which has been my pride and joy. Do you know what kind of a position that would put me?
Horrible.
Yes, it would put me in such a disagreeable position.
Okay. I also asked whether it is only disagreeable sin at home which you're afraid of.
Well, go ahead. And it will be the worst for you. He will see for himself what a blackguard you are, and will have nothing to do with it.
Listen to me, Mrs. Selma. It is either you have a very short memory or you know very little about business. Then, I'll not be at a mess if I remember some details. Now, when your husband was very sick, you came to me to borrow some 250 pounds of money.
I had no one else to turn to.
Which I promised to give you.
Yes?
Now, I had promised to give that amount of money on certain conditions. But your mind was so preoccupied with your father's illness and your travel abroad that you least paid attention to the conditions of our game. Then, let me remind you of the details. I had promised to give you that amount of money on the surety of the bond which I drew.
Which I signed.
Now, below your signature were a few lines consisting of the further surety of the money. Those lines, your father ought to have signed himself.
What? He did sign the paper.
I had left the place of the date blank, meaning your father himself was to insert the date. He himself signed the papers. Do you remember?
I remember.
Then I took the papers and gave the paper to send to your father.
Yes.
You did so because naturally, was it after 5? No, after 6 days. You brought the papers back bearing your father's signature, right?
Yes, I did.
Let us come back to the matter at hand. That one was a very trying moment for you.
Yes, it was.
Your father was very, very ill.
Near his end.
And he died soon afterwards.
Yes, he did.
Now, Mrs. Elma,
Yes.
can you by any chance remember the date your father died? I mean, the date and the month your father died.
Papa died on the 29th of September.
Correct. Ooh,
Yes.
correct. Correct. And if that is the case, then there are some discrepancies I cannot account for.
What discrepancies?
Now, the discrepancy consists of the fact that your father signed the papers 3 days after his death. Now, look here. Your father died on 29th of September. The papers were signed on 2nd of October. Explain. Then again, the 1/2 of October are not written in your father's handwriting, but are written in someone's handwriting. I can quite understand. Explain that too. Okay. Let us leave that because maybe somebody came and did it haphazardly. But what we need here is a genuine signature. Now let me ask you, Mrs. Selma, I thought it was your father who signed the papers.
It was I who signed the papers.
And that's a very dangerous confession you're making.
In what way shall soon have your money?
Okay. Let me ask you a simple question. Why did you not send these papers to your father?
I couldn't. We was in a very dangerous position. Hence, if I had asked the signature from my father, he would have asked what the money was for.
And why did you not give up on your travel abroad?
That was a journey that was supposed to save Tovar's life.
And did it not occur to you that you are committing a fraud on me?
I couldn't put that into account, for you've put so many difficulties on my way.
And remember, the law cares nothing about motives.
Then it must be a very foolish law.
Maybe. But foolish or not, it is the same law that will judge you should I produce these papers in the court of law.
Is the wife not allowed to sell her dying husband? I don't know much about the law, but I think there must be some laws that pertain such kind of things. You who is a lawyer,
Yes.
then you must be a very poor lawyer.
Okay, maybe, and maybe not. But in matters of business that you and I quite understand very well. Do you think I don't know that? Do you think I don't know what you did? Do you? Okay, Mrs. Elma. Do as you please. Do as you wish. But let me warn you. Should I lose my post in the bank for the second time, Mrs. Helma? Should I lose my post in the bank for the second time, Mrs. Helma? You'll have to lose yours with me and go down with me. Nonsense.
Trying to frighten me like that?
Mommy,
Yes, baby.
I know was the stranger.
Do not tell your papa about it, okay?
Why, Mom? Why, Mom?
That is a secret, okay, baby?
Can you play with us
No,
now?
no. Tonight is completely...
But, Mommy, you promised.
No, baby. I cannot play with you right now.
Mommy.
Please get in, okay?
Mommy.
Nas, take these children. Please get in. It's not time. Please, baby, don't cry. Children. Helen, bring in the Christmas tree.
We are not leaving.
Please, baby, please get in. Please get in. Where shall I place it, ma'am? There in the middle.
Can I get you anything Yes.
You're back already?
Yes. Has anyone been here?
Yeah? No.
Has anyone been here?
No?
Okay. But that is strange.
Wait.
I saw clocks are walking out of the gate.
Did you?
And I can see from your manner that he has been here begging you to say a good word for him.
Yes, but...
And you appear to have done it on your own accord. To conceal from me the fact of him having been here. And put a lie into the bargain.
A lie?
Didn't you just tell me that no one was here?
But Trevor...
You see, my little songbird must not tell lies. My little singing bird must have a clean beak to chip with. No false notes.
Okay, Trevor.
That is it.
Yes, Trevor.
That is it, right? Yes, my little songbird must not tell lies. My baby doll must never tell lies. Alright?
Yes, Trevor.
Oh, how warm and how warm is it? Okay.
Trevor?
Yes.
Are you so busy?
Oh, well, I've got I'm just from the office. Look here.
Trevor, I'm tremendously looking forward to the fancy dress ball that will be held at the Stenbox the day after tomorrow.
Oh, and I'm tremendously looking forward to see what you're going to surprise me with.
But that was a very silly thought of me.
Well, that was my little Nora.
You see, I can't hit upon anything. Anything that I come across seems so insignificant.